before the world begins to pull at your attention, before the noise, the pressure, the responsibilities. You have a window, a sacred moment in the morning when your mind is still quiet and your subconscious is listening. If you understand the power of that moment, you can train your subconscious to shape the reality you desire. Most people wake up and immediately hand their power away. They reach for their phone, scroll through other people's lives, absorb stress, and let chaos set the tone for their day. What they don't realize is that the first 10 minutes of your morning are the most fertile ground for mental reprogramming. That's when your subconscious is still in a suggestible state, somewhere between sleep and alertness. That's when you imprint. That's when you direct the script. If you want to shift your life, you must take control of that script. So, every morning, before you check your messages, before you get out of bed, you speak to your mind like a commander. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with clarity and certainty. You declare what your life is becoming, not what it is, what it's becoming. And this isn't just wishful thinking, it's neurological conditioning. Athletes, CEOs, and creatives who dominate their fields, they don't start their day reacting to the world. They train their mind to lead. LeBron James, for example, has openly shared that his mornings begin with stillness, visualization, and repetition of mental cues. Not just physical drills, mental drills. That's why he performs under pressure, because he trains his mind before anyone else has a chance to program it for him. This is not motivation. This is discipline. And if you're waiting to feel ready, to feel motivated, you'll stay stuck. The truth is, your subconscious will believe whatever you tell it consistently. It doesn't care if it's a lie or a truth. It cares if it's repeated. So tomorrow morning, you start like this. I am the architect of my life. I lead my day with clarity. I attract only what aligns with my purpose. And you say it out loud. Every single morning. Because the one who commands the morning commands the day. And the one who commands the day commands the life. Let's be honest. Most people are unconsciously feeding their mind with everything they don't want. They wake up already tired. They repeat to themselves, I don't have enough time. I don't know what I'm doing. My life is a mess. And they say it with no awareness of the damage being done. What you rehearse is what you reinforce, and what you reinforce becomes who you are. Your subconscious mind isn't judging what you say. It's recording every complaint, every limitation, every self-attack. It's writing it down like instructions. That's why the morning matters more than most people will ever realize. Because when you first wake up, your brain is in a receptive state, not yet distracted, not yet reactive. It's soft soil, and you get to decide what gets planted. But most people don't plant anything. They reuse yesterday's thoughts. They replay yesterday's fears. And without knowing, they recreate the same day, again and again. Different date, same story. But here's what I want you to understand. Reality doesn't change just because you want it to. It changes when your internal pattern changes, and that change begins when you speak differently to yourself, especially in the quiet of the morning. So tomorrow, before the world touches you, take 2 minutes, just 2. Sit in stillness, close your eyes, and speak with clarity. No begging, no hoping, no fear. Say, today I act from purpose. I speak with power. I attract only what strengthens me. You're not trying to trick yourself, you're training yourself. You are building a new foundation through words and presence. And like any form of training, it requires repetition, not perfection. Repetition. No one else has to believe in it yet. You do. Because belief isn't created through luck or chance. It's built brick by brick, thought by thought, until your subconscious finally accepts. This is who we are now. You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat. But I'll tell you something more powerful. You are what you repeat. And what you repeat becomes the blueprint your subconscious follows day after day without question. It's not your goals that define you. It's your internal climate. The way you speak to yourself when no one is listening. The emotions you dwell in before the world even sees you. You may not realize it, but your subconscious is constantly listening. It picks up the tone of your life by the words you use. Most often, I never have enough. Things never work out for me. I'm always tired, always behind. These are not harmless phrases. These are emotional affirmations. And your subconscious doesn't argue with them. It follows orders. That's why your morning routine isn't just about what you do. It's about what you rehearse internally. You're either conditioning your mind to rise or allowing it to sink by default. But here's the key. It's not about fake positivity. You don't have to deny your problems. You just don't feed them first thing in the morning. You make a choice to create alignment between your inner voice and your desired reality. So, ask yourself, what emotional tone do you set before the world touches you? Are you planting thoughts of strength, clarity, and focus? Or are you rehearsing the same fear, scarcity, and fatigue that have kept you circling the same life for years? The shift begins with awareness. Then it continues with action. And that action is small, but sacred. You show up for yourself every morning with intention. You interrupt the old pattern with something new. You speak life, not lack, not once, every day. Because repetition rewires. And the one who dares to speak a new truth long enough, out loud, with emotion, with focus, will see the outer world bend to that new inner code. You don't rise by accident, you rise by instruction. You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat. But I'll tell you something more powerful. You are what you repeat. And what you repeat becomes the blueprint your subconscious follows day after day without question. It's not your goals that define you. It's your internal climate. The way you speak to yourself when no one is listening. The emotions you dwell in before the world even sees you. You may not realize it, but your subconscious is constantly listening. It picks up the tone of your life by the words you use. Most often, I never have enough. Things never work out for me. I'm always tired, always behind. These are not harmless phrases. These are emotional affirmations. And your subconscious doesn't argue with them. It follows orders. That's why your morning routine isn't just about what you do. It's about what you rehearse internally. You're either conditioning your mind to rise or allowing it to sink by default. But here's the key. It's not about fake positivity. You don't have to deny your problems. You just don't feed them first thing in the morning. You make a choice to create alignment between your inner voice and your desired reality. So, ask yourself, what emotional tone do you set before the world touches you? Are you planting thoughts of strength, clarity, and focus? Or are you rehearsing the same fear, scarcity, and fatigue that have kept you circling the same life for years? The shift begins with awareness. Then it continues with action. And that action is small, but sacred. You show up for yourself every morning with intention. You interrupt the old pattern with something new. You speak life, not lack, not once, every day. Because repetition rewires. And the one who dares to speak a new truth long enough, out loud, with emotion, with focus, will see the outer world bend to that new inner code. You don't rise by accident, you rise by instruction. When people hear the words subconscious training, they often think it's something mystical or abstract. But I want you to see it for what it really is. Repetition with intention. Over time, that repetition becomes identity. You don't need to find out who you are. You need to build who you are consciously. And that's what the most powerful people in the world do. They don't wait to feel confident. They speak confidence into their nervous system until it becomes second nature. Lady Gaga is a perfect example. Before the world knew her name, before the awards, the sold-out arenas, or the fashion statements, she would stand in front of the mirror and say the same words over and over again. I'm a superstar. I'm a superstar. I'm a superstar. She didn't say it once and hope it would come true. She said it daily, with feeling, with certainty, until her subconscious believed it, until her body aligned with it, until the outer world had no choice but to reflect it. She trained her identity before anyone else gave her permission. And that's the key. You're not waiting for proof. You're not waiting for permission. You're installing the belief before the evidence shows up. Most people do the opposite. They wait for results to feel empowered. But that's not how the subconscious works. It needs consistency, not confirmation. So what are you repeating every morning? Are you declaring who you are becoming? Or are you reinforcing who you used to be? It doesn't matter if it feels awkward at first. It's not supposed to feel natural. It's supposed to feel new. You're building a new pattern, a new frequency, a new standard. And if you're brave enough to repeat it out loud every morning, your subconscious will eventually stop resisting and start obeying. Not because life magically changes, but because you do. Let's make something clear. Your subconscious doesn't respond to inspiration. It responds to repetition. You can listen to the most powerful speech in the world, feel goosebumps, even cry, and still wake up tomorrow with the same self-sabotaging thoughts. Why? Because inspiration doesn't equal transformation. It's not what moves you emotionally. It's what you commit to mentally, over and over again. That's why morning rituals matter. Not because the ritual is magic, but because it's the moment you become intentional about your identity. Think of it like this. Every morning you are either reinforcing your old self or rehearsing your new one. There is no neutral. There is no pause. Your mind is always being programmed by you or by your environment. So you take control. You wake up, you center yourself, and you speak into the direction you're going, even if it feels fake, even if nothing around you has changed yet, because that's the exact moment your subconscious is listening the loudest. When there's no evidence, only faith. You say, I am not who I was. I am the version of myself that follows through. I act in alignment with the future I am building. Not as a performance, as a discipline. And if you skip a day, you reset the pattern. Because the subconscious isn't loyal to your goals. It's loyal to your instructions. And every thought, every word, every emotional rehearsal is an instruction. You're not waiting for the universe to move. You are instructing the subconscious that you've already moved, that you've already made the decision, that you are already living from the mindset of the person who has it figured out, not perfectly, but intentionally. Because results don't start with action. They start with self-perception. And self-perception is nothing more than a thought repeated with certainty, again and again, until it becomes who you are. Let's be honest. Manifestation isn't about wanting something really badly and hoping the universe delivers. That's wishful thinking. That's desperation disguised as spirituality. The truth is, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is determined by what you consistently think, say, and feel, especially in the first minutes of your day. Your subconscious doesn't respond to begging. It responds to embodiment. This is why most people stay stuck. They say they want a new life, a new relationship, a new opportunity, but they start their day in the same identity that's been repelling those things for years. No clarity, no direction, just emotional autopilot. But you're not here for that. You're here to build congruence, to make sure that your internal atmosphere is a match for the outcomes you say you're calling in. So each morning you show up with a clear decision. I no longer think from lack. I no longer speak from fear. I no longer act from confusion. You say it out loud. You breathe it in. You repeat it until it overrides the static that's been playing in your head for decades. Because let me tell you something. When your inner state is steady, your outer life begins to shift. Not by luck, by resonance. Energy doesn't lie, and your subconscious can't fake alignment. It knows what you rehearse. It knows what you tolerate. It knows what you've trained it to believe. If you keep repeating the identity of someone who never follows through, guess what your subconscious will do? It'll protect that pattern, because that's what it thinks is safe. That's what it thinks is you. But the moment you interrupt that with clarity, daily, intentionally, you teach your brain something new. You teach it, this is who I am now. And anything that doesn't match falls away. And that's how change begins. Not by chasing the result, but by becoming the kind of person who attracts it without force. Most people associate discipline with force, pressure, or punishment. But true discipline, the kind that rewires your subconscious, is sacred. It's not about being harsh. It's about being intentional. It's about refusing to let your future be shaped by randomness or repetition of the past. You train your subconscious the same way an artist trains their hand or an athlete trains their reflexes, with consistent input, day after day, until what once felt unnatural becomes automatic. And the most powerful time to do that? Morning, always the morning. Because in that brief window before distraction takes over, your inner world is yours to command. You don't wait for motivation, you create momentum. And the beauty is, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Each time you declare a new belief, each time you resist the urge to spiral into fear or comparison, you're reinforcing a new identity. That identity becomes your emotional home. And your emotional home is where your decisions come from. Not the version of you who hesitates, doubts, or self-sabotages, but the version who acts in alignment with vision. Think about how most people live. They repeat yesterday's emotions and expect a different result. They wait for something outside of them to shift before they believe something inside can change. But that's not how it works. Your outer world doesn't shift first. Your inner voice does. And the moment you take responsibility for that voice, what it says, how it feels, how it moves through your day, you reclaim power over what you create, attract, and become. You start seeing life differently. Not because life got easier, but because your subconscious stopped fighting you. It started working with you. That's what spiritual discipline looks like. Not magic, not chaos, but order, alignment, repetition. You're not doing this practice for result. You're doing it because this is who you are now. And that's enough to start bending reality. By now, you understand the truth. Your life doesn't change when your circumstances shift. It changes when your identity evolves. And identity is not found. It is forged through intention, through emotion, through daily repetition. You don't need to become someone else. You need to return to the version of you that was always clear, the one beneath the fear, the one beneath the doubt, the one who remembers. That version of you is still there. And every morning when you speak with power, when you declare your vision out loud, you're not pretending. You're remembering. You're reminding your subconscious that you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of direction. And it doesn't matter how long you felt stuck. It doesn't matter how chaotic your past has been. It only matters what you decide to believe and reinforce from this day forward. So tomorrow morning, and the next, and the next, you show up. You speak life into your mind. You speak purpose into your emotions. You speak clarity into your body. And when the old thoughts show up, and they will, you don't panic. You don't fight. You replace. You correct. You reaffirm. Because that's what training looks like. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. And your habits are born in the silence before the world touches you. So speak boldly. Speak with direction. Speak from the vision that's calling you forward, not the fear that's trying to pull you back. And if you truly want to train your subconscious for manifestation, you begin before the world can interrupt. This is how you build a life with intention. This is how you shape destiny without force. This is how you remember who you are.